Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to AJ101 Criminal Law Online. My name is Tony Farrar, and I am going to be your instructor for this semester. And before we begin tonight's lecture, which is the course syllabus review, a little bit about myself. On the academic side, I have a master's degree in administration of justice, a second master's degree in business, and a third master's degree in criminology from the University of Cambridge in England, of all places. On the workforce side, I was in law enforcement for a little over 34 years, and I spent the last 5 years as the chief of police for the City of Rialto Police Department in San Bernardino County. And you can read a little bit more about me if you want by going to the faculty webpage, but tonight's important lecture is going to be covering the course syllabus. So let's just go ahead and jump right into that. So again, this is AJ101 Criminal Law. It is the online course. The section number is 3500. And of course, we are in the spring 2019 semester. Some of the instructor contact information that I have right here. I am located at the Menifee campus, and I have my email and my Twitter account information there. Yes, I will tweet back and forth with you, but give me a little bit of time because I'm not always that good at it, but I will do my best. I have a couple of other links that are included in the syllabus as well. The first one right here is the Criminal Justice Club. We have historically run a club on the San Jacinto campus and also on the Menifee campus. And if you would like more information, you can find that in your Canvas shell for this course, or you can go to their Facebook page and check it out and see if that's something that you want to get involved in. I also have a link to the career education website, which is important for a couple of reasons. The first is that it provides you a lot of information on career ed and some different paths that you can take and how to get to where you need to be. It also provides some information on internships and jobs, specifically relating to criminal justice, but also some other things as well. And it also will direct you to a page that has some information on whether or not you are ready for an online class. And typically, sometimes online courses are better for some individuals than others. So if you're not sure if you're ready for an online class or you've never taken one before, they have some videos and some information that you can take a look at to see if you're ready or what the expectations are for taking an online course. With that being said, I do have office hours on the Menifee campus. I am located in the 900 building in room 961. I am on campus pretty much all day on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you can see my office hours here. For online classes, I monitor the course all week long, but specifically I'm online in case you have any questions of me on Wednesday and Thursday nights from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. I am also available, as it says here, by appointment, and email is the best way to get in touch with me. I will get back to you extremely fast, so if you email me something, expect a reply pretty quick. If you do email me, do me a favor and place a header in the email or the title of your email so that way I know which class you're in. Because I do teach quite a few different courses, and because of that, I might get you confused with being in one class versus another. So as an example, I used my own name here for our AJ101 3500. You don't have to put criminal law, but if you just put 101-3500, I know exactly what class you're in, and I can get back to you quite a bit quicker so I don't have to search through all the classes to figure out which one that you're in. If, in fact, you are required to, and you will be, to submit a written assignment on Canvas, do me a favor, submit it in Microsoft Word, because if you send it to me in some other word processor format like WordPerfect, or if you send it through a third-party thing like Google Docs, I'm not going to be able to open it. And if I can't open it, I can't read it, and if I can't read it, I can't grade it, and I can't give you points. So it is important that you do that. Now, if you do use a different word processing format, if you PDF the file, that should make it work. If it doesn't work and I can't read it, I will email you back and let you know that. but if you can stick with Microsoft Word, that would definitely be a benefit. The syllabus, here we are right now. This is considered kind of a living document, meaning that it could be subject to change. Typically with online courses, I don't like to change a lot of things, and typically I won't, but you never know. So take a look at the syllabus so you know exactly when the due dates are and what the assignments are, and we're going to go through all of that today. But also, do me a favor, set up your notifications in Canvas, whether you get them through your computer at home or through your phone. Make sure that you're going to get those announcements from the class, whether it's an email or a text. But typically I'll send out a lot of reminders and a lot of different information, and I want to make sure that you get that information as quickly as possible. So follow the syllabus. I will notify you of any changes, and make sure that you set up your electronic devices so you can receive any type of updates or other information. So with that being said, what is this class that you're in, criminal law? Okay, well, we're going to cover a lot of different things, but kind of in summary, the course covers the historical development, the philosophy of law, and constitutional provisions. There will be some definitions, of course, classifications of crimes, and the application of law to the system of administration of justice. And we'll look at legal research, because you're going to do a case study. We'll look at the study of case law, methodology, meaning how do we do that, and some of the concepts of laws as a social force, meaning how do some of these laws impact us? Not just in the courtroom, but maybe outside of the courtroom as an everyday individual. So a lot of stuff that we're going to cover. And as far as, what do we hope that you can take away? Well, hopefully you're going to learn a lot in this particular course. But some things we're going to kind of focus on would be to discuss the structural framework of criminal statutory law. And we talk about statutory law, we mean written law. And we're going to define and analyze some of the different concepts in these definitions and what they really mean. Things like mens rea or actus rea, or corpus delicti. You've probably heard that phrase before, body of the crime. Well, we're going to define that and really understand what it means. And you're going to come to find out it really doesn't mean the body, but more to come. We're going to consider or analyze the historical origins of American criminal law. So like, where did this stuff come from? And what parts of it do we still use? And how do things become laws? So we're going to kind of look at a lot of that different stuff as well. We're going to also look at and assess different situations using the laws which are enumerated in the California Penal Code. So we're going to, and I'll get more on that penal code thing in just a minute. And then finally, we're going to look at the value of these historical landmark Supreme Court case decisions, and how these decisions had an impact not only on modern society, but on policing as a whole. And that's really important. And you're going to come to see that the very important piece of this class is going to be something that you probably have already heard of, called the Bill of Rights, which are the first 10 amendments to the United States Constitution. And those impact policing in all different aspects, including the law. And we're talking whether it's search and seizure, whether it's recovery of or seizure of evidence, or whether it's picking a jury. I mean, all of these things are impacted by a lot of these different historical landmark cases, and we'll talk more about those as we go through. Now, here's the textbook that we're going to use this semester, and the title is Criminal Law Today. It is the 6th edition. It's published through Pearson Publishing, and you can see there's the ISBN number. You can, of course, get this book at the San Jacinto or the Menifee bookstores, but I'm sure you're probably more adept on figuring out where to get your books. Now, I don't care if you pick up this book in a paperback or whether you get an ebook or whatever, but for this course, I'm really going to tell you it's important that you have a textbook. And the reason is, not only are there a lot of definitions, and I'm going to provide you separate little definition sheets And you'll see that, and I'll show them to you as we look at the Canvas shell in just a little bit. So I'll give you the weekly definitions that are important, that you need to kind of put to memory, if you will. But when we start to talk about these definitions in the context of criminal law, you're going to need to be able to add some context to the conversations, if that makes sense. And understand that while these lectures, I'm going to give you different versions of lectures, and a lot of my lectures are going to be audio lectures, just like I'm doing right now. So it's just like you're sitting in a classroom. I'm going to lecture to you, and you'll have the PowerPoint in the background and maybe some videos, etc. But I can't cover everything. So to help you add context to some of the definitions or the topics or these cases, you're going to need to fill that in by reading the chapters in the book. So hopefully that really kind of sunk in and you understand the importance of having a textbook. So with that being said, let's go ahead and just move on. Now here's the penal code that I was talking about. Now you don't have to have this. If you happen to be one of those individuals that has a California penal code at hand, that's great. But if you don't, that's okay, because I put a link to legalinfo.ca.gov here for you, and you can find any California code, whether it be a penal code, a health and safety code, a welfare and institution code, a vehicle code, etc., at this particular website. So if you do need to refer to something as you're reading through your textbook, then you can go to this website, and therefore you don't really need a penal code. Now, getting into more of the course itself. So check-in. Now, because this is an online class, it's going to open a few days early, which means I'm going to open this class on Monday, January 14th at about 5 p.m. Now, keep in mind this class officially opens on Wednesday, January 16th at 5 p.m. That's when each module in my course opens, and I'll show you what that looks like, so don't panic. But typically my classes will open on Wednesday nights, or each week. You'll get a weekly module. It opens on Wednesday, and then it's going to close the following Tuesday night, but I'll show you what that looks like. But I just want you to know that I'm going to open it a little bit early on the 14th, and this is where you're going to do the check-in. And part of this check-in, it's two components. The first is going to the discussion board, and it'll be labeled discussion board number 1, so you can see right here. And you're just going to respond to the discussion board as indicated, and you'll see what it looks like. And this is going to be the first part of your official check-in. Now, the second part is going to be a very short 10-question syllabus quiz. And the good part is we're lecturing on the syllabus right now, so you should be able to easily ace this very quick and simple syllabus quiz, just to make sure that you understand all the components of the course. Now, this is going to be a somewhat fast-paced class. Yes, there's going to be some reading. You're going to have reading every week, and that's going to be the chapter reading in your textbook. So what you really need to do is to keep up with everything, which means do the readings. Don't just rely on the PowerPoint lectures. And again, I'll give you these lectures in a couple of different formats. And an example is I will do an audio lecture on each particular chapter, just like I'm doing right now with the syllabus. I'll also just post the PowerPoint, so if you don't want to hear my voice, you can just look at that. So I'll give you a couple of different options. I'll even PDF the PowerPoint, so if you don't have PowerPoint on your computer, you'll have a PDF document that you can look at as well. So you've got some different options to get the same thing. And you'll also see that when we get to the Canvas shell, I'll have an intro into each chapter, but more on that in a few minutes. Now, there might be some legal terms as you're reading through or looking at some of this stuff that might be a little bit difficult at first for you to understand because you haven't heard it before. So again, that's another reason to read the textbook chapters carefully, to fully understand them and to add some context to the subject matter. Again, you might have to look up a word or a term on the internet or the penal code or in a law dictionary, and that's okay. But if you have any problems with a concept or a definition, you're just not getting it, I'll have a separate discussion board in your Canvas shell that's probably be titled General Discussions, and you can post a question there, or you can email me direct. Because chances are, if you're thinking of, hey, I don't understand this, somebody else is probably thinking the same thing. Now, This isn't a super simple class, but I'm going to make it easy for you. And really, if you do the work and you follow along, you should have absolutely no problem getting through this class with relative ease. But it does require you to do the work on your side. At the end of the day, however, this class is going to be awesome. We're going to have a lot of fun. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it, and it's going to be very rewarding from all of the knowledge that you're going to gain. So what are my expectations? Well, here are some expectations that I've come up with, which I think are very simple but important as it relates to an online course. So first, read the required materials. Look at the PowerPoints, listen to the audio lectures, any way you want to do it, but just go ahead and do that. Look at any lecture notes or definitions that I have posted in Canvas. Read the articles that are there. Again, read the textbook chapters. View the weekly videos relating to each chapter. As I said before, when you see the modules the way that I have this set up, and they'll be by weeks, it'll say week 1, week 2. But when you click on week 1, there's going to be an introduction to week 1. There might be an article, a video. Take a look at that. Now, the videos in the introduction, they're not mandatory, but they do help add context to the chapter that we're going to talk about. What's going to be mandatory will be the audio lectures or the PowerPoints. That's something that you're really going to want to pay attention to. But again, read the stuff, listen to the stuff, look at the case study videos. Participate in thoughtful and timely discussions via the discussion board. And thoughtful and timely means that you're going to have a time frame to do them in, but don't just reply back by saying, yes, I agree. Give me your thoughts on the subject. Number 4, complete the online quizzes. Number 5, complete the online timed exams. And number 6, complete your midterm writing assignments. Now, an important note down here that failing to participate in the discussion boards, missing quizzes or exams, or failing to turn in any other assignments or a combination of these activities may be cause for you to be dropped from the class. Now, I don't want that to happen, so an important thing to remember is that, again, I'll break these up into weeks for you, but you have to self-regulate, meaning that you need to remember to do the assignments, and that's why it's important that you go through the syllabus in its entirety. So you're probably asking now, well, hey, am I ready for an online class? Well, you do need to make sure that you're ready, and I've got a couple of links in here for you. So the first one is a link to the MSJC online learning page, which will provide you some information on online courses and typically what they encompass. And the next link down here are some video tutorials and some other related information to kind of assess your readiness. You can watch the videos and it will kind of walk you through what a Canvas shell looks like and how to navigate some of the courses, even though I'm going to show you some of that in this particular lecture. So with that being said, what about technology? Well, this is important here because you're responsible for your computer equipment, of course, and the internet connection independent of the campus. So what does that mean? It means that if your internet goes down at home, I don't mean to say it kind of rude, but you need to have a backup plan. So I can't help you with something that happens outside of the college campus. So plan your coursework to be able to accommodate any computer-related issues that you might have. And because there might be some of these issues, it's not necessarily grounds for me to relax the deadlines, because the deadlines are pretty much the deadlines. Now, if you're unsure of whether something got uploaded or a transaction went through, you can check your gradebook first, and you'll be able to see points in there. If you're looking at your gradebook every once in a while, and you should be, if you don't see anything in a box where we've already gone through it, like a quiz, and there's no number in there, that probably means that maybe you didn't do the assignment. So take a look at that first. But if you're having an issue, email me or post something on the discussion board, and I will get back to you, and we'll get to the bottom of it. But again, you need to kind of self-regulate. Now, if you've never taken an online class, or even if you have, I have outlined some of the functions in Canvas that typically you'll be going to often. Now, for you to be successful in this class, what I need you to do is check Canvas about 2 times a week. I'm going to send out, again, a lot of reminders on homework telling you, hey, you need to get this done. Don't forget to get this done. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility, but I'm going to try to help you. But logging into your Canvas shell and looking around in there and see how the course navigates, that's an important part of this. So focus on some of these areas. Modules, now this is where your weekly assignments are going to be. And I'm going to title each module so you're going to know exactly which week the information is for. So as an example here, you'll see that Module 1 is going to be titled Week 1. And therefore, Week 1 is going to have all of the information that you need to complete for Week 1. So it is kind of simple. And these modules, again, are going to contain audio lectures and chapter PowerPoints and links to videos and articles and all your exams and quizzes. Everything is going to be within those weekly modules that you need to do for that week, with one exception. And that's going to be your midterm essay writing assignment. That has its own little module. So, and I'll show you what that looks like. But again, so week to week. Discussions, this is where our group discussions will take place. We're going to have discussion boards, and you're going to need to respond on those discussions. I may post links to videos or articles, and you'll look at those first, or you'll read those, and then you'll respond to the discussion. Now, your discussions, you can go to the separate discussion tab in your Canvas shell, or that link will be in your weekly module as well to help you out. So you don't even have to leave your weekly module to find the discussion for that particular week. Announcements, this is where you're going to find announcements for the class, including any relevant information on changes to quizzes or exams, or any upcoming information that I might need you to know about. Sometimes I send things out for internships or jobs or other information on job fairs. So, stay abreast of those, and make sure, again, that you set your technology, whether it's computers or your phones, to where you can receive these announcements in a text message or an email. The grade book, this, of course, is where your grades are going to be. And you can monitor your grades on your end. Again, if you don't see a grade in a certain area, check to make sure that you turned in the assignment first before you email me telling me that you can't see your particular grade. Extra credit, there's a separate module in the weekly modules titled Extra Credit. And this is the area where you can find your extra credit assignment if you want to do it, and I would highly recommend that you do. Extra credit, just note it's date specific, meaning that it's going to open on a certain date and it's going to close on a certain date, just like your weekly modules do. And again, I'll show you this. I'll give you a visual of your Canvas shell in just a few minutes so you can see what all that looks like. So with that said, how are we going to learn all this stuff that I've been talking about? Well, yes, it's going to be audio lectures and news articles and visual aids and video and PowerPoints and discussion board, class participation, and your written assignment, quizzes and exams. And also, you are certainly always welcome to attend any of my in-class presentations from guest speakers. And I will use the announcement function and send those out to you as well. So you'll be able to attend. Let's say if I have a group of homicide detectives come in to talk to a face-to-face class, I'll make sure that you're notified of that. And if you would like to attend, you are certainly more than welcome to do that. If you need any academic support or anything like that, you can go to the college LRC or through the help desk, and they are there to definitely help you out should you need that, or you can post something on the discussion board or email me if there's anything that you need from me. Now, when we talk of code of conduct, we're going to talk just for a second on something called netiquette, and this is the online cyberspace etiquette. So again, netiquette is network etiquette. It's the etiquette of cyberspace, meaning how do you behave online. Now, there's an author, Virginia Shea, and she has defined some of these issues and discussed them in her book that she wrote called Netiquette. It's actually a pretty cool book. And there are some brief rules or core rules that she has, and you can go to the website link that I have right here if you want to see that. But basically what I want to talk about really quick is the fact that when we respond to discussion boards, or we post questions or respond to questions or what have you, please understand that we are all different. And because we are different, we're going to have different opinions. And that's good, because life would be really boring if we were all the same. But with that said, understand that because we have different opinions, that when you respond back to somebody, please do it in a polite manner and a professional manner. Again, knowing that the job of these discussion boards is for us to learn and to listen to or read and understand other opinions of other individuals. A perfect example would be the debate over the death penalty. And some of you might say, yeah, that's okay. And some of you might say, no, that's not okay. And again, this is something that's highly debated. But what we want to do is we want to learn. And part of learning is to hear other viewpoints and read other viewpoints. So there's nothing wrong with responding back, but let's do it in a positive, professional manner, knowing again at the end of the day, we all want to learn from whatever it is that we're discussing, because some of the discussion boards are going to be critical issues in policing, and those things that are sometimes sensitive. But they're part of the law, they're part of the process, they're part of the procedure, and therefore they're definitely necessary for us to discuss. Okay, so enough of that. If you need any help as far as websites that can help you find like case laws or things like that, I have a couple of those links here for you. So that's pretty self-explanatory. All right, exams and quizzes. This is the important part. The quiz and exam questions are going to come directly from the textbook, the lectures, the PowerPoints, the audio lecture, or designated articles or videos. Now, each week you're going to have a reading assignment. That's going to be your chapter reading in the book that you're going to get, right? Okay, so we're already there. You're going to have the lecture and the PowerPoint. Again, the audio lecture or just the PowerPoint, or both, whichever one you want to look at or listen to. Every week you'll have a short 10-question quiz that covers the chapter that we're in. And because there's 14 chapters, we're going to have 14 of those quizzes. And I added a chapter, lucky you. So there's going to be a total of 15 of those quizzes, one every week. Does that kind of make sense? And now, the quizzes are for a couple of reasons. The first, to know that I know that you're out there breathing and alive and you're with me. And the second reason is because this is kind of getting you ready for the chapter exams. So it's important. If you do well on these quizzes, you're going to do really well on your exams. So study for the quizzes. Don't just kind of fly by night them, if you will. Now, in addition to the quizzes, there are going to be 3 chapter exams, and those are 50 questions apiece, which cover, they're going to be chapter range. So let's say, for example, if there's 15 total chapters, more than likely, and we'll confirm this in just a second, that your first chapter exam is going to cover chapters 1 through 5. And your second chapter exam will be 6 through 10. And then your last chapter exam, which will be your final, will be the remaining chapters 11 through 15. Does that make sense? And just so you know, the exams are not cumulative, meaning that your final doesn't have stuff in chapter 1. It will be the last 5 chapters that we covered. So hopefully that kind of makes sense. And then we're going to have 4 discussion boards. So we're right here if you're following along. The first one is your check-in. Remember the important part about the check-in, so you'll have 3 others. And then finally, you'll have a midterm writing assignment, and then there'll be the availability of the extra credit. Now, again, really quick on the discussion boards. You're going to have a total of 4 of those. The first is the check-in. Each of these discussions is worth up to 5 points, and they're not automatic. You got to give me something. So when you respond to these discussion boards, make sure that you read the information or watch the video to add context so you can get it, and then respond with a well thought out response. The more focused and thought out the response, the more points you're going to get, up to 5. Don't just respond with I agree. Tell me what you think about what it is. Now, I don't need a whole page. If you could give me a short paragraph of like 4 sentences or 5 sentences, that would be awesome. That would be a good response, and that would be worth 5 points. So I would appreciate that if you would take note of that. Now, I'm going to show you now the structure of how the class is kind of laid out. So all lectures, PowerPoints, quizzes, exams, discussion information, and other assignments, except your midterm writing assignment, okay, and I'll explain that in a minute, those are going to be available on Wednesday nights at 5 p.m. So again, the class is moduled by weeks. It opens on Wednesday at 5 p.m. And all assignments in that weekly module are due by 11 p.m. on the following Tuesday. So follow along. Here's an example. So because this is an online class, remember I'm going to open it a couple days early, but it officially opens on January 16th at 5 p.m. This is the official opening. Okay? So that means that you're going to have, if you're following along right here, you're going to have until Tuesday, January 22nd at 11 p.m. to complete everything in that week 1 module. And in that module for week 1 are going to be the discussion board check-in and the syllabus quiz. This is what you need to do for week 1. And every module is similar. It's by week. So again, just to clarify, all your assignments, your quizzes, your exams, your discussion boards, etc., they have to be posted in Canvas on Tuesday nights by 11 p.m. And as a general rule, there are no makeup assignments because really you have 6 days to complete the weekly assignments. Therefore, it really is up to you to get the work done. Now, I know stuff happens. And if you have an emergency, I will evaluate that on a case-by-case basis. Jury duty, military deployment. A verified medical emergency, not I forgot, or not I had to go to work tonight. And I understand work, and that's very important. But if you have 6 days to do your assignments, you need to plan that. Don't wait until the last minute. And that's really important. So again, please keep in mind that it's your responsibility to make time for completing the assignments. Again, don't wait till the last minute. And I'm going to do my best to remind you of due dates and other information. And you'll probably get tired of me sending out reminders. Hey, don't forget your assignments are due. But at the end of the day, it's your job, it's your responsibility to know when those due dates are and to plan accordingly. So what can help you? There are 2 main things that I see with online students who experience some problems. The first is the inability to keep track of due dates. So again, you need to be able to self-pace or self-regulate, meaning keeping close track of assignment due dates. Put it in your calendar in your phone, even though you'll see it on Canvas and you'll get reminders from me. If you're one of those folks that has a problem with that, put a little reminder in your phone or in your computer. Don't wait until the last minute, like at 10 o'clock on Tuesday night when your assignments are due at 11 and then you have some computer issue. Because again, remember, that's going to be your responsibility to find a workaround. The second thing that I see is the thought that a lot of individuals think that, hey, you know what, there's so many quizzes that if I miss a few, it's no big deal. Well, at the end of the day, it kind of is. Because missing assignments will start to add up quickly, and before you know it, you're kind of behind. And you only get a couple shots at extra credit. Now, there's one for sure extra credit assignment, and I'll show it to you in just a few minutes. And I might be able to add a couple things during the semester, but if I don't, that's all you're going to get. So you need to, again, make sure that you get your assignments done in a timely fashion. So, kind of as I show you visually what the grading looks like, I want you to take notice of this here. On the weeks that you have a chapter exam, you're still going to have to do your quiz. Remember, there's a quiz every week. And the quizzes, again, are to make sure that you've been exposed to the chapter material so you can do better on your chapter exams. So a hint that I want to give you is do the quiz first. If you're in a weekly module that has a quiz and a chapter exam, do the quiz before you do the chapter exams. That makes sense? So here's how you would interpret the grades, if you will. So here's how I grade. Now I grade on points. But so, 90 to 100% of the points will be, the A, 80 to 89, and you can see how it works. I don't have to go through that. But here's your assignments. So again, I kind of talked about them, and now I'm going to show them to you. You'll have 3 chapter exams. As we're looking at, they're each worth 50 points. The third chapter exam is your final. Remember, the exams are not cumulative. They just address the chapters that we covered. You will have 4 discussion boards. The first one is your check-in. They're worth 5 points apiece. The syllabus quiz, that's 10 points. Your midterm writing assignment is 30. Remember, there's 15 quizzes for 150, and your total points are 360. So if you want to know point-wise what an A in the class is, you can convert, and yes, math is important, 90% of 360, and that will be your answer. And you can kind of monitor that as you're going through if you're trying to figure out where you're at. And again, there is a chance for extra credit of up to 15 points. Some important dates to remember. Regular instruction begins for the college on Monday the 14th. Remember that we have here spring break is the 18th through the 22nd. So don't forget about that. Your written assignment. Well, let me back up here. When we talk about the American with Disabilities Act and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, understand that if anyone out there taking this online course needs something specific from me, please shoot me an email or send it through the appropriate channels, and I will make sure that you get whatever it is that you need to be successful in this particular class. So no worries. We will make sure that everybody is taken care of. Now, your written assignment, we'll get into this a little bit more as we start to get into the semester, but this will open up on the first day of class. So you'll see it open up on Wednesday, the 16th. I've given you the assignment information. You're going to write a case brief, basically a short essay on the United States Supreme Court case Maryland versus King, and I've given you the writing topics. Now, you're going to need to write 3 pages. And again, with all of these topics right here, you should easily be able to come up with 3 pages. Your paper must provide at least 2 references. There's no makeup for this paper if you don't turn it in on time. And I'll show you the deadline when we get to the actual schedule which comes up next. Again, the paper needs to be 3 pages long, double-spaced, 12-point font with a cover sheet. Use Microsoft Word, please. You're also going to need a short abstract, which is what is required by APA. Now, the abstract, the cover sheet, and the reference page, they don't count for the 3 pages. You need 3 full pages of text. And again, the paper needs to follow APA format. If you're unfamiliar about APA, you can go to this link for OWL Purdue, which is a great resource. But I've also done a couple other things to help you out. I'm going to post on Canvas an instructional video on how to complete your paper and also how to write in APA format. So that will be there for you. And it'll also cover how to reference in APA, because remember, you need to cite your references, and we're going to talk about the reason for that here in just a second. So with that being said, if you need any other information, you can certainly email me or post something on the discussion board, but there's a separate module, again, titled Midterm Essay, and that's where you're going to want to go, and it gives you all of your information. So there'll be a sample essay posted for you so you can kind of look at how that's written. And there's also going to be information on how to upload your essay, because you're not going to email it to me, you're going to upload it into Canvas. And again, all of this is in that midterm essay module. And there's an audio lecture on how to write your paper. So that should make it a little bit easier for you, but we'll talk a little bit more about it. But what's important now is this top part where we're at when we're talking about plagiarism. Now, covering or copying even a part of a sentence from a text, an article, a news story, in a paper without acknowledging the source or using quotes is technically plagiarism. And copying and just changing a couple words is still plagiarism. So I've given you a couple of things to think about. So if you didn't think of it yourself, or it's not common knowledge, you need to cite it, or what we call reference it. If in doubt, cite it. So you're not going to get marked down or anything like that for citing too much. But typically a lot of students, they may not cite enough. So if the thought is not yours, or you're pulling information from a website or a book or a page or an article, you need to reference your information. And what you're really doing is you're giving credit to the person that said that, or wrote that, or put that information in a particular document. And if you don't give them credit for their work, then that's the part that's considered plagiarism. And the reason you cite your work is because when people also look at your work, they're going to want to know where you found it. That's why we have references. And different articles might have different references, so that's how you find more information on a particular subject, because people are referencing in their documents, and that's another one of the reasons. So I'm not going to spend all day on that. I want to move into the course outline. So here is what the schedule is going to look like unless there's some kind of a change that occurs. So remember, we talked about weekly modules. So here's week 1. This module opens on January 16th at what time? 5 o'clock. Remember, Wednesday at 5. And it'll close January 22nd, a Tuesday night, at what time? 11 p.m. This is a 1-week module. It's 6 days. Now, within this 6 days, this is going to occur. And hopefully that makes sense. We're going to do the syllabus lecture, which is what we're doing right now. And we're going to talk about the quizzes and the exams and grading and discussion boards and the midterm writing assignment. And you're going to check in this time period using discussion board number 1. And as part of the check-in, you're going to do the syllabus quiz. All of this in this circle, that's week 1. That's it. If we go to week 2, you can see what we're going to discuss. It's going to open on Wednesday the 23rd. It's going to close on Tuesday night the 29th. We're going to cover Chapter 1, the nature and history of criminal law. It's so exciting. You're going to have within this module the PowerPoints, the notes, the definitions, the audio lecture. And of course, you're going to read the chapter because you're all going to get the book. I'm even more excited now. And then you're going to have a weekly quiz on Chapter 1. This is week 2. Let's look at something where it kind of changes a little bit. Let's go to week 5. Week 5, again, same thing. Opens on a Wednesday, closes on a Tuesday. Here's what we're going to cover. You're going to have the same information, the definitions, the reading assignment, the audio lecture. You're going to have a quiz. And then you're going to have the discussion board number 2. So these are your assignments. So you see how it kind of flows. Now let me go one more so you can see what happens when you have an exam. So if you go to week 6, same time frames. Opens on a Wednesday, closes on a Tuesday, 6 days. Here's your chapter. Same things, definitions, your reading, your lecture, your weekly quiz, which covers Chapter 5. And then your first chapter exam, which covers chapters 1 through 5. Does that, and hopefully that makes sense. It's very simple to follow. I'll even show it to you in Canvas. Now so you'll see how it looks the same all the way through. Week 10, this is important because it's spring break. You don't have any assignments here. Oh, wait a minute, unless you want to do extra credit. The extra credit assignment for this course is only available during week 10. So it'll open on this day, It'll close on this day, just like all the other modules do inside of this particular course. And then you can see it just kind of walks you all the way through it. Now, with that being said, I want to take you to the Canvas shell so you can see what it looks like. Now, we're not online yet with the class, so because I'm doing this video a little bit early. Let me line this up. But this is what your Canvas shell will look like. Actually, this is the instructor view, but yours should look somewhat similar. You're looking at the home page. It's got a little video. It's got some information about me. It's got a picture of me at Cambridge University. Yes, that's kind of cool. And then a picture of me in uniform. And then, you know, down here to begin the course, you can click on this link. But on the left side, you'll see the same thing. You may not have as many of these as I do, but you'll have announcements, assignments, grades, modules, where the syllabus is. And again, there'll be an audio syllabus, which is what you're listening to right now. And there's also just a document if you want to look at that. But I want to go to the modules so you can see what I'm talking about. So when we click on the modules page, it may not, again, look exactly like this one. But you will see the modules in there. And the course isn't live yet, but I'll walk you through it. You'll see something called the home page. If you want information on the Criminal Justice Club, you can click here. I've got some cool websites you can go to if you like homicides or forensic files or 48 hours or things like that. So different websites you can watch some things. This is a list of videos that covers the Bill of Rights, and I would highly suggest that you look at these. Each one of these links will take you to a very short video, and the video will cover exactly what it says. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution. I did throw in the 14th Amendment, and then I threw in Article 3 of the Constitution. But again, look at these videos when you have time. They're short. They're anywhere from like 4 minutes to like 9 minutes, maybe 10. But they'll walk you through each one of the amendments, and it's pretty good stuff to know. A couple of important Supreme Court cases, same thing. There's some videos and a little bit of text there. This is very important to start off. The link on that home page takes you to this document right here that says please read, which means please read it, because it'll help you be successful in this class. It's going to cover some of the things that we've already kind of learned in this syllabus review. So I've got a couple of other quick links. If you need the calendar for this year, how to use Canvas, I've got some information for that. Remember I told you that the midterm essay had its own module? Well, here it is. You click on this, it gives you the info on the essay. Here's the audio version of the APA lecture. Here's just the PowerPoint version. So if you don't want to hear me talk, you can just look at this. Here's an example paper. I have what we call a writing rubric, which tells you how I'm going to kind of grade your essays. And folks, don't panic. I'm not so hard on spelling and grammar, even though I might make a comment in there. I'm looking for format and content, what you think, and following the directions that I gave you in the paper. And then finally, a little link on how to upload your paper. And now the most important part, remember we talked about how things were broke up in weekly modules. Well, you saw it on the syllabus, but here it is in your Canvas shell. So you can see week 1, and in this week 1 folder are all the things you need for week 1. There's an introduction, just like every chapter has. There's the syllabus review, the audio version, which is what we're doing right now. If you need closed caption or you prefer it, there's a version for that. There's this check-in, the discussion board. It's inside the folder. Your quiz is inside the folder. And then I have a couple videos on the different court systems that are out there. And those they're very short, but they would be good for you to watch as well. And so we can look at week 2. It's the same thing. An introduction, which might have an article or a video. Chapter 1 terms. These are important terms that you may want to look at. And not only do I have the term and the definition, I have the page number in your book to help you find it quickly so you can reference it if you need it. I have the chapter PowerPoint. I have a PDF version of the same PowerPoint. These are all the same, just different versions, okay, or different systems to access. I have the audio lecture, which is like what we're doing right now, and then I have the same thing in closed caption. So I'm giving you the lecture in a bunch of different formats, whatever is easier for you or that you prefer. And then here's your chapter 1 quiz. So they're all the same. You can see how the modules are laid out. And remember when we got down to week 10, this is your spring break, but it's also where your extra credit falls. And so you can see how all of this kind of, as I walk you through all of this. All right, so that's kind of what it looks like. And I want to end with, this kind of cool photo right here. And let me kind of center it so you can see how cool, at least I think I can center it. Oh, maybe I can't. Okay, there we go. So yes, this is me. And yes, I love to surf on my off time. And yes, this is in Hawaii, so it's even cooler. But I thought I'd throw this picture up because we're in the spring semester. And that means that we've made it through the cold, blustery times into, October, November, December, and we're moving into the warmer times, in January and February, and that leads us into summer where we can do more surfing and, have quite a bit more fun and better weather, etc. And I thought I would just kind of throw that out there to make you feel warmer. So I hope that kind of helps. But anyway, with that being said, and all of that being said, that will conclude our lecture on the syllabus review. If you have any other questions or you need any other type of assistance, when the course opens, you can certainly post them again on the general discussion board in the discussions module area, or you can send me an email. But until we come together again at the beginning of class or for our next lecture, that will be the end or conclude our syllabus review.